You can use the mouse, sir, and reposition the keyboard by pushing it from the edges, too. Mia laughed softly. You have to admit, it's pretty awesome. No doubt, Hayden replied. I'll have you give me a lesson later, show me everything it can do. But for now, I need you to get a message out for me. Okay, sir, go ahead. I'll record it now. No, just have someone shoot out a message to all our clinics and outreach sites that still have comms, request immediate status updates, and if possible, I'd like them to give me some type of... He paused, searching for the right words. Sir, if you don't mind, Mia offered, tilting her head, perhaps a current mission statement as well as a projected forecast analysis is you're wanting? Yes, precisely, and make sure we convey that we understand they're extremely busy, but we need these reports back as soon as possible. Of course, sir. I'll word the request myself and send it immediately. Thank you. Now, how do I get my monitor back down on the desk? Just end the call, sir. Or click the X in the upper right-hand corner and it'll return to the desk. In the future, you can simply place your hand on the screen and say something like, Contact Miss Safari. It'll pop up and place the call for you. Wow, Hayden muttered, eyes narrowing. How on earth do you know all this stuff? Sir, Melinda covered all of it in her talk with us this morning. I told you should have paid a bit more attention. Now didn't I? She teased, nodding. Yes, that you did, Mia, Hayden conceded, hitting the X to end the call. In her office, Mia typed up his request and posted it exactly as promised. BGN MSG, we know that you are more than likely extremely busy at this point, and Dr. Hayden wishes to acknowledge all your hard work and effort. However, we are in dire need of updated mission statements, Form 78A2-1, along with projected forecast operational analysis statements, Form 78A2-10. Please send these ASAP. Once again, thank you for all you're doing out there. Hayden returned to monitoring the news channels, his mind racing. What, if anything, could be done to head off what looked to become a disaster for the Foundation? He knew it was only a matter of time before the clinics in major cities ran out of vaccines, and when they did, they would have no choice but to turn people away, closing their doors, leaving hundreds of thousands untreated. He ran scenario after scenario through his mind, but the results never changed. Once the vaccines were gone, panic would sweep the crowds. Chaos was inevitable. Senator James Benton, after seeing the news story, immediately began calling committee heads and personal contacts, trying to gather information on the Foundation of Life's latest ventures. But every call led to the same result. They knew as little as he did. Brenda had been busy at his side, printing everything she could find on the Foundation and placing it on his desk. Benton thumbed through the stack, though he knew if there were real answers, they wouldn't be in public listings. He remembered Hayden well. Years ago, he'd met the young doctor when Hayden had sought federal funding for his Genesis project. At the time, Benton, newly appointed senator, and his ally, Senator Earl Henderson, head of the Agricultural Committee, had done everything in their power to destroy it, and it had been almost too easy. Hayden, brilliant in genetics but politically naive, was discredited quickly. Benton and Henderson launched accusations, painting him as reckless and unstable. Soon, the young scientist, once celebrated as one of the top geneticists in the world, was ruined, not only in the public's eye, but also in his own scientific community. Sir, Brenda interrupted, lowering her phone, Mr. Henderson would like to meet you at 8 a.m. I can clear your schedule if you wish. 1 second, Brenda. Benton turned toward Jason, the young staffer who had delivered the Foundation's letter. Jason was still seated near her desk, watching as she worked, occasionally offering help. Jason, Benton called. Thank you for bringing this letter in on such short notice, but it's getting late. We're closing up shop soon. Jason took the cue to leave. Rising from his chair, he nodded. Glad I could help, sir. If you need anything else, just call. With that, he departed, closing the office door behind him. Brenda glanced at Benton and shrugged, smiling as if to say, It's not my fault he likes me. Then she asked, Sir, is 8 a.m. okay with you? Yes, of course, but let Henderson's office know this meeting is to be kept off the record, Bren. Yes, sir. She took Henderson's line off hold and relayed the instructions. Hanging up, she turned back. Sir, is there anything more? Benton hesitated, then poured himself another drink at the liquor cabinet. There are a couple of things I'll need for that meeting, but first, I feel I need to clear up a few things. Did I do something wrong, sir? Brenda asked softly. If it's about Jason, don't give that a second thought. He's much too young for me, and besides, he's married. No, no, Benton said, a smile tugging at his lips. I'm not worried about that young man. Brenda slipped behind him and wrapped her arms around his waist. Well, good then, because you're all the man I need, she murmured, squeezing him gently. Benton poured her a drink as well, and the two made their way to the sofa. Brenda took a slow sip, her eyes glinting. So what do we need to discuss, sir? Her tone carried a sultry edge, as though she doubted he'd really pulled her over to talk. Let's cool our jets for a moment, Benton replied with a half grin. You are tempting, no doubt, but there's something I actually need to let you in on. Brenda straightened in her seat, her demeanor shifting instantly to professional. Okay, sir, she said, taking another sip before setting her glass down on the coffee table. First of all, nothing that is said here can be repeated to anyone. Is that understood? Yes, sir. Brenda's expression shifted instantly, showing a much higher level of interest. Well then, how to put this? James paused, choosing his words carefully. Brenda reached for the remote and switched on some light music. Just in case, sir, you said you wanted this kept private. James nodded in agreement, then leaned forward. This Dr. Hayden you've heard so much about tonight, there's a lot more to him than you'd ever know, Brenda. Like what, sir? Like the fact that his organization has open contracts with our government, first of all. Really? Her face now held pure confusion. Yes, but what I'm about to tell you goes way deeper than that, and the only reason I'm telling you is because of that letter from his organization. Sir? Brenda asked, prompting him to continue. I know I said it was bullshit, but it's not the letter that concerns me. It's who they sent it to. Oh, she pressed. Give me a chance to explain this, and I think you'll understand why I seem out of sorts tonight. He took a long sip of his brandy, then lowered the glass. Mr. Celester Hayden first came to our attention 26 years ago, like that commentator said on television tonight, but believe me, she doesn't know the half of it. Brenda sat silently as the senator loosened his tie. The worry etched across his face told her just how deeply this weighed on him. This Dr. Hayden, probably one of the world's greatest geneticists, began flooding our offices with letters, pleased to be heard on the Senate floor. He wanted funding for his organization's Genesis Project, a self-contained garden free from genetic alteration, capable of growing anywhere in the world. Needless to say, most thought it impossible, but those in the know warned us that if anyone could pull it off, it would be Celester Hayden. Wait, sir, who are these people in the know? Brenda asked, leaning forward now with intent curiosity. A certain agricultural company at the time, James said, voice hardening. They developed herbicides, pesticides, sold seeds across the globe. Hayden had worked for them while earning his doctorate in genetics. This company had been in bed with governments long before I was born, and they had serious pull, not just here, but worldwide. So when Hayden came forward, they called in their favors. And just like that, his project went south fast. Brenda frowned. Well, if this guy was so great, why does everyone think he's some kind of quack now? Bren, I'm sure you know what happens to people in this country when they cross the wrong corporations. But for the record, he's not a quack. Warped, maybe, but nowhere near crazy. Okay, but I don't see what that has to do with what's happening now. This isn't about food, right? No, it's not about food, but there's more you need to hear. Like what? Like how he got painted as some kind of nutcase. She gave him a wry smile. I can pretty much figure that part out for myself, sir. Hold on now, Benton raised a finger. That part I had nothing to do with. Henderson and I did everything we could to stop him, but only legislatively. I had nothing to do with all the other things that followed. I'm sorry, sir, I guess I'm not following. You were never even on the agricultural committee, were you? No, I wasn't. But that doesn't mean I wasn't involved. James took another sip, then set his glass down. It's a long story. Let me put it this way. I was in the middle of it, whether I wanted to or not. When I first ran for Senate, I didn't stand a chance. Honestly, I thought I'd be farming another couple of years before I'd even make a name for myself. I wanted it, sure, but I had no money, no backing. I was no threat to Senator Michaels, the incumbent. But as fate would have it, he angered some powerful people. One of them happened to be Senator Henderson, head of the Agricultural Committee. Wait, what did he do to piss them off? The usual sin in politics. He backed bills Henderson and his allies didn't like. So Henderson came to me. After a few talks, he decided to back me, introduced me to some board members of a certain company who've backed me ever since. Haven't you noticed I've been virtually unopposed for this seat the last 18 years? Brenda's eyes widened. Oh my God. So that company. They were the ones who destroyed Hayden. But why? As I said, Hayden had worked for them once. He worked for the same company that basically destroyed him? How ironic. She shook her head. Not at that time. While Hayden was still in school, his professors didn't care for him, probably felt threatened. Hayden and a colleague decided to study genetic alterations, not of plants, but of seeds. Hybrid plants were nothing new, but Hayden wanted to prove you could alter the seed itself, make it grow however you wanted. Brenda murmured, drawn in. The university allowed it, but refused funding. Hayden contacted that company. They were spending millions chasing the same dream. Not only did they fund him, they gave him access to their labs. They'd been trying 3 years to engineer a seed resistant to certain herbicides with some of the best scientists alive. Hayden and his partner solved it in 2 months. 2 months. Not only did they deliver the herbicide-resistant seed, but others that produced higher yields, adaptable to countless environments. The company was thrilled. His partner stayed. Hayden didn't. He had issues with their testing methods. They paid him a hefty severance to keep quiet, and he walked away. Brenda blinked. But all the Genesis Project literature bragged about how none of the plants were genetically altered. And yet, he was basically the father of genetic seed alteration? Exactly. Now you see why they buried him. They didn't just want to ruin him, they wanted him erased. So like damnatio memoriae? Brenda asked suddenly. Like what? It's Latin. The Roman Senate used it when they wanted to erase someone's existence, usually traitors. She laughed lightly. Sorry, law school trivia. Never thought I'd actually use it in a sentence. James cracked a small smile. Yes, exactly that. Within 2 years, Hayden was stripped of his doctorate after allegations he'd stolen research. His old partner even testified against him. He lost every academic and scientific title. They painted him as a lunatic. He tried to fight back, started a grassroots movement warning people about the dangers of genetically altered food. He even pushed petitions to force the FDA to label products clearly. But then Henderson pushed through bills making it illegal in most states to grow your own produce. And soon after, Hayden and his organization disappeared from the face of the earth. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel for more in this series and many other stories we know you'll love. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss an update.